Welcome back to Squawk on the Street. Big orders are back at this year's Paris Air Show. Phil LeBeau has been tracking that action and joins us with more from Paris. Hi, Phil.
Hey, Carl, the largest airplane order ever was placed by Indigo Air with Airbus, 500 A320s. Book value, over $50 billion. Nobody pays book value these days, but still a massive order. One of three stories that really has dominated the Paris Air Show. There's Indigo's massive order. There's also a lot of discussion about the fact that as airlines are looking out to the future, increasingly they're realizing it's going to be tough to hit the emissions targets that have been set in Europe or are going to be expected in the U.S., over in Asia as well. And finally, there's a question of whether or not there's order over exuberance. As you take a look at Boeing and Airbus, keep in mind that these guys are both looking at backlogs that extend beyond 2030. Adding to that for Boeing, they just logged an order for 8 Dreamliners with China Airlines, which is based out of Taiwan. The China market, the country of China, that is a critical market for Boeing that some believe may be opening up now that you have perhaps a thawing of the tension between the U.S. and China. Here's GE's Larry Culp talking about the importance of China, not only for GE, but for Boeing as well.
It's an important market for us, Phil. As you know, we've been there for 40 years. We serve 60 airlines in China. We've begun to see that recovery take fold, and we would really like to see our friends at Boeing be able to resume shipments into China. So if the Blinken visit is the beginning of that transition, we'd be fully supportive.
Got to take a look at shares of GE. They've more than doubled in the last year. And Larry Culp today, or yesterday, telling analysts, look, they expect to be on target for 20% profit margins in 2025. A big story here are the suppliers, GE front and center. At a show, guys, that's getting a lot of attention for just how many orders have been placed and the expectations for growth throughout the rest of this decade.
Ask Phil what you're hearing generally about demand, because travel has been so strong, but at the same time, these are some of the biggest manufacturers, and manufacturing globally has been so weak.
They're not going to be able to meet these targets in terms of the deliveries that are expected. Yes, they're increasing production, and both Boeing and Airbus are optimistic that they will hit the production targets that they have set out there. But when you look at these backlogs, they're close to a record high. They're only within a couple of hundred airplanes of hitting where they were pre-pandemic, and they're going to blow past that. But the airlines feel pressured to put in an order right now, even if they're not taking delivery until later this decade or after 2030. It's an interesting situation. We've seen it similar, like after deregulation. Curious how this plays out over the next couple of years.